Good evening and welcome to Tribune Sports Live. I'm Zach Steele along with Chris Yao. And Chris, only one game to talk about this week.
Yeah, we only had the one game, Pinson Valley and Pleasant Grove, and it was a good one for our guys.
Pinson Valley gets the big victory. Going into the playoffs gives them a little bit of momentum.
It does. You know, the thing about Pinson Valley, as we've talked about all season long, is how are they going to continue to keep up what they've been doing, and do they bounce back from losses, and how they've responded all year. And Matt Glover's done a good job along with his staff of keeping these kids really focused, you know, and Pleasant Grove is a very good football team. They're a playoff team, and Pinson Valley just went in there and took care of business as they should have.
Well, we'll get into that game a little bit more after the break. Bit of an abbreviated show this week since we've only got one game to review, but we will be previewing all of the playoff games for our area teams. We'll be back in just a moment.
Trustful Vision Care is now proud to offer sports vision training for athletes. This sports-specific training improves hand-eye coordination and reaction time. As a former college athlete, Dr. Steele knows how important perfect vision is to succeed on the athletic field. For athletes, 20/20 vision is not enough. Trustful Vision Care.
Welcome back, and as we said in the opening, Chris, a successful night for Pinson. They go and take care of business against Pleasant Grove.
You know, Pleasant Grove is a team that we talked about could give them a little bit of trouble, Pinson Valley, but it was a dominant performance by the defensive line. Nico Simmons with a defensive touchdown. You have to give props to the big guys up front when they get the end zone. But, you know, offensively, Jackie Matthews was great. Had a 66-yard touchdown to Lee Allen Daly. Traversed again with another big night. So this was a game that, you know, really helped Pinson as far as, like you said, momentum going into the playoffs.
Well, and it also, I think, gets them focused because this was a game they couldn't overlook. This was a team that they could not overlook. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't a cupcake ball game. It was a game where they could really tune things up.
And they did. That's one thing that I thought was really impressive, that Pinson Valley, they came in with a mindset of, this is not a game that we can just, you know, breeze through. We've got to really focus on doing the little things correctly, and they did well. And that's what, you know, Glover's been preaching all year is details. Paying attention to detail, not turning the ball over. Jackie Matthews did not throw an interception. That's so important, especially going into the playoffs with a team like Jackson Olin waiting.
And let's talk a little bit about Jackson Olin. They're 8-2 and a very good football team, but haven't been in the playoffs in a while.
This is their first playoff appearance since 1998. The Mustangs have not seen much postseason play in their history. The thing is, though, that this year they've got some really good football players. They've got an Auburn commit in linebacker T.D. Moultrie. They've got a really good running back. You know, it's all about, you know, how well this defensive line for Pinson Valley is able to contain that offense, and can they stop T.D. Moultrie from getting to the backfield?
Well, and it's going to be a test for that Pinson offensive line to be sure, because Traversed, if they can get, you know, yardage on first down, make things a little bit easier for them, not get into third and longs, and give Moultrie a chance to really wreak havoc, I think that they have a great shot to win this ball game.
I absolutely think they have a shot to win. You know, Jackson Olin's 2 losses came to Homewood and Ramsey, but, you know, this team right here, this Jackson Olin team has shown that they can be beaten. And Pinson Valley is one of those teams that we've said all season long could make some noise in the playoffs, and it all starts right here with this win over Jackson Olin if they can get it.
Well, we'd love to see them go deep in the playoffs. I think they have the talent to do it this year. It's just going to kind of be the luck of the draw and who they get next if they can get by Jackson Olin. So
pretty much.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about 2 other playoff teams in our area, the Hewitt Huskies and the Clay Chalkville Cougars. We'll be back in just a moment.
Jefferson Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens is home-owned and operated by the Seal family. I've known Eddie Seal and his son Adam for over 25 years. They're community-oriented and, more importantly, good folks who know how to take care of people in their time of need. That's how Jefferson Memorial became Trustful's funeral home and cemetery. Jefferson Memorial is located at 1591 Gadsden Highway. You can call them at 322-0543. Before your need arises, let Jefferson Memorial family take care of your family.
Welcome back, and we're going to preview our other two playoff games for our area teams. We'll start with Clay Chalkville as they have to go on the road and take on a very good Ramsey team.
Ramsey is the team we've seen already this year. They destroyed Pinson Valley earlier this season behind Benico Harley, who is one of the state's best offensive prospects. This year, as a passer, he's 75%, which is unreal. He's got 17 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. So this is going to be an incredible challenge for the Clay Chalkville Cougars.
Well, especially as Clay's been kind of picked on in the secondary all year. So Ramsey, not a school that you usually associate with great football. Now, they're a basketball school. You always see them, come March and late February talking about the Final Four, but not a school we expect in football.
Not in the past, but this has been a program that has continuously gotten better over the past few years. They did a good job in hiring the right coaching staff. And, it's all about getting the athletes to play at a school like Ramsey. There are plenty of athletes. It's, do they want to play football? Do they want to play basketball? How do you convince them that football is the right way to go? And one of those ways you do that is to say, look, we've got Benico Harley. If you want to be successful, we can make this football team successful behind a guy like him. And, those kids bought in. And now they're sitting at 8-2 with their 2 losses, which they lost to Mountain Brook last week. But Mountain Brook, a very good 7A football team, second in their region. And they lost to Grayson, Georgia, who just defeated Hoover last week. So their 2 losses are not bad losses. This is a very good football team, and Clay has its work cut out.
Okay, so what does Clay have to do to get a victory here against Ramsey? What are the things that they really have to key on?
Here's what they have to do. They have to not let what happened against Park Crossing happen again. You can't let Harley get out of the pocket, but you also have to make sure you get pressure on him. So you can't just contain him because he can throw the football really, really well. So you have to find a way to get pressure, but also keep him inside the pocket and not let him get outside, because he does have 451 rushing yards this season for 64 yards a game. So, he's one of those quarterbacks that it's really hard to defend. The best way to do it is to just lock up on the receivers and hope that you can get some coverage sacks.
And the other thing about this kid is he does not turn the ball over. You mentioned 3 interceptions. So, this is going to be a pretty tall task for that Clay defense.
Oh, no question. And even on the offensive side, Clay is going to have some issues. I mean, obviously, we don't know the status of William Miller. We expect that he will not play. But, offensively, this team has really not matured the way that you would hope they would have throughout the season. So Clay really is going to have to find a way to score some points.
Well, let's switch over a moment and talk about Hewitt-Trussville. 10-0 for the first time in their history, and they get an Oak Mountain team that comes in 3-7 coming into this ball game.
Yeah, Oak Mountain just got lucky. I say lucky. They won the right ball games. They beat the teams they had to beat to win the tiebreaker, and congratulations to them for doing that. They celebrated by losing to Hazel Green last week. So Oak Mountain's a team where Hewitt-Trussville's had a lot of success against them in the past. Last year was a pretty good win for Hewitt-Trussville over at their place. So they come here this year, home crowd, big playoff game. I feel like Hewitt-Trussville's probably got this one wrapped up.
Well, when you look at this team that Hewitt's playing in Oak Mountain, they're going to be a little bit of a unique offense because they run that almost wing tee kind of a thing that they do, and they're not going to have the athletes that Hewitt has. The key for Hewitt is just going to be playing sound position football, especially
Correct.
On the defensive end.
And that's what you have to do against the wing tee. You have to lock up on your tight ends and your wing backs and make sure that they can't get into the flats where they can find, get their athletes in the open field. Jackson Kimbrell, Oak Mountain's quarterback, last week he was 10 of 19 for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns, which is a good week. This was against Mountain Brook in their win over Mountain Brook. So, Kimbrell does a good job of finding the open guy, but it's because of the way that the teams are playing that defense. They are playing good, sound defense, but he's getting a lot of time. And if Hewitt's able to get some pressure on them, I don't think that'll be an issue.
Well, the key for Hewitt's definitely going to be stopping the run and putting them in bad situations. On the offensive end, I don't think there's anything Oak Mountain can do to keep Hewitt from scoring points.
No question. This is going to be another one of those high-scoring affairs for the Huskies, I believe.
Well, and your thoughts on this game, Hewitt? You feel like Hewitt moves on to the second round here?
No question. I feel like Hewitt will probably be in the second round and probably at home because you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. But this is one of those years where Hewitt-Trussville could have all 3 playoff games at home.
And backing up to Clay, any shot for them at Ramsey?
Absolutely. I mean, Clay has a chance because this is the time of year where Jerry Hood does his thing, and I feel like he'll have his team prepared. It's just a matter of can they contain Benico Harley? That's the question.
And backing up to Pinson here, you like Pinson in this ballgame over Jackson Olin?
I actually do. I like Pinson Valley to upset Jackson Olin and get the win here. I really feel like that Kamel Shaverst and Jackie Matthews are going to score some points, and that defensive line's going to be really important. And you'll see Jackson. I believe you might see Pinson Valley pull in Alabama and score a non-offensive touchdown in another game.
All right. Well, that's our show for this evening. Kind of an abbreviated show, like we said. We'll be back next week and we'll review all these games and hopefully get to preview 3 more playoff games. For Chris Yao, I'm Zach Steele. Good night, everybody.